There are a lot of note-taking apps on Android, but there've really only ever been two that I have used consistently. For a long time, I used Google Keep. Remember what Google Keep looks like because it's going to be relevant here in a minute. I liked the way that it's synced across my various devices. I liked that I could go to keep.google.com and I could see my notes there as well. The biggest reason I left Google Keep was because there wasn't enough rich text going on there. I couldn't change font sizes. You can't really do anything but just type in stuff. Bold or italic, I think, was pretty much it. And for me, at the time I was using it, I was using one of these apps to take notes to structure a podcast. Back in the day, I used to host a podcast called XP Earn that is fully dead and off the internet. And in fact, the archives I have of it are gone. I had a data loss and they're gone. So sorry. Then later on, Podcast Revived was the revived version of that podcast, kind of. And I used it to, like I said, structure that podcast. So I like to have segments, right? So I have some bigger text to dictate that that was a new segment that I was moving through. And Keep just made that really difficult. Like I said, all you could do was basically go bold. So I looked around, and then eventually I started using Microsoft OneNote. Now, this is also partially due to the fact that I also bought a Surface Duo and started using that as my primary phone of choice. And OneNote is pretty well integrated into Surface Duo, but it looks like some aspects of OneNote are going to be getting a pretty major facelift. I've got a blog post here from Microsoft to show you. Refreshing the OneNote app on Android mobile, and you can look at this first image here. That did not make it bigger, that in fact made it smaller. And like I said, remember that image from Google Keep because that looks a whole heck of a lot like Google Keep. This is a pretty major facelift. Now, before I go any further, I do want to scroll all the way down to the bottom for a quick spoiler alert because it does in fact say features are currently being rolled out in stages, not available for tablet or dual screen phones. I don't know why they didn't just say Surface Duo. It's the only one, but in fact, they did say dual screen phone. So apparently this upgrade, this facelift, is not available on Duo or something like the Z Fold. Might it become available later? I don't know. If I hear any word back about that, I will definitely update this in some way, be it a pinned comment or something. But for now, we are going to look at this as sort of maybe a sneak peek into the future. This is going to be what OneNote will look like on normal phones, and I have to imagine at some point this will roll out to their other devices, in particular their own device, Surface Duo. So again, this is a very Google Keep-ish looking layout. And if we compare that to what we currently have on something like Surface Duo, it is a large departure. This is what the main page of OneNote currently looks like. And it's pretty simple. You just have your sections of your notebook on the left and then pages on the right. You select one and then there you go. I don't think I have any notes here that I would like to show you. Here we go. Here's a list of my YouTube members, supporters, and that's what it looks like. If you go back, then again, you get pages and then sections. Strangely enough, on Surface Duo, there is no button to get to your sticky notes. You have to actually go into the Office app and you'll see your sticky notes there. Hopefully that gets addressed because that has long been annoying, but you can see how big of a change this represents. So you can see here they have a nice little GIF scrolling back and forth, switching between both a grid view as well as a list view. I do like that it is sort of multimedia rich in that you can see previews of images in each individual note. You can kind of see what's going on in them. That's going to make things a bit easier to navigate. I do want to point out that you still do apparently have the ability to jump into individual notebooks, but I am a little bit weirded out that the sections, I don't see where the sections come into light there. So I keep my things organized, right? I have stuff that's for me. I have stuff that is for Scary If Literal, stuff that is for the podcast, so forth and so on. I like to be able to keep those separated into sections, and I'm not really seeing, other than with color coding, I'm not really seeing much going on there. Maybe they'll reveal a bit more as we go. They talk about different ways to sort things, which I think is very important. Sorting by the creation date and updated date alphabetically or other filtering options. Now you can see in this one that they long press a particular note here and then they actually change what notebook it is in and then place it into a different section. But when they do this, visually, there's really nothing there that's telling me that that has occurred. It still looks like the same thing. It's still there in the exact same place. So what good did moving it do? I really hope there is a way to filter between different sections and so forth, because like I said, I don't want to see everything all in one place. And they do show a section here about filtering. I wish I could pause, but I don't see, maybe you could pause and look for me there, but I don't see a way to do it there either. Microsoft Lens integration is good to see. Lens is really, really useful for scanning documents with your camera, and with Surface Duo 2's better camera and facing out into the world, it works pretty well for that. I've used it many times. Having that integrated into OneNote is going to be a really nice improvement. They also show off a pretty interesting dictation thing built in here that's got punctuation there, new line, additional things to do there as you are standardly dictating. That'll be interesting to see rolled out as well. But yeah, I think some good and some confusing. I would love to see a version of this app in my hands so that I could properly try it out and see how this works, because my biggest concern here is categorization. Even with Google Keep, you could go into a little side menu and kind of only see different colors. Those were your categories. You could color code them, and I could say, only show me the blue notes, and that would be how I would separate it. Well, I need to know that there's something like this in OneNote, or else it's going to be a little bit weird. But then again, maybe it won't ever come to Surface Duo or Duo 2, or might not come for a very long time. I've looked on APK Mirror for a beta, and I found a beta which actually matched similar to the build number here, but it did not look like this. It was still the standard app. So perhaps this will roll out to beta users very, very soon. Perhaps it already is. At any rate, this is a sneak peek at what OneNote is going to look like in the very near future. I'm excited to see if this does come to Duo, and if it does keep any of the dual screen enhancements. Obviously, I should show you this. On a device like Surface Duo, you can span the app across both screens, and then you have your notes and then your actual open page on the other side. So might they include something like that, or might that be what delays this coming to Duo and other foldable devices? Stay tuned as more news does come out. Guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and until next time, stay nerdy, my friends.